I'm going to give this a whirl here and see how this works. I do feel it being very smooth. Oh, that's nice. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Well, hi friends, I'm Brian Cosby, this is Provide and Protect, and today we are going to be sharpening the chainsaw chain here. And you know, for years I've been using this set by STIHL, and it's done well. I've enjoyed it. It is pretty slow, and so not too long ago I picked up this 2-in-1 that I've heard great things about, and has great reviews. And so it says that it's a 2-in-1 because not only can you sharpen the actual teeth of the chainsaw, but also the depth gauges. And so we're going to see how this works and really compare the two of them. So let's get into it. So like I said, this is the set that I've been using for years, and it's pretty basic. So you got these 3 parts to it, and this is for actually sharpening the teeth of the chainsaw chain, and this goes into the gullet, the rounded part, and you got this top part here that will rest on the top of the teeth themselves as you sharpen. So pretty basic, pretty easy, pretty popular actually as well. Of course, this can be used for the depth gauges. Some people call them rakers, but you can use this for the depth gauges and kind of knock that down using one of these kind of tools here. You kind of put this over the teeth and knock those down. So pretty basic, and but it is pretty slow, and because you go through the whole process sharpening the actual teeth itself, and then you go back, and then you got to do all of the depth gauges. So that's why, put this aside, I picked up this guy, and it's a pretty ingenious design. And basically the idea is that you have the actual file here on each side. So there's 2, you know, if you want to go this way and then turn it around, go the other way, you can. And then you have in the center here, you have this flat file, and that is for the depth gauges. And the idea, from what I've been told, is that you run this through and it does both at the same time. That's why they call it a 2-in-1. And you can open this part up here and take out the files if you want, and I guess replace them or whatever. So that is for replacing the files at some point. So, but we're going to give this a whirl, see how it works. So I want to show you what we're talking about here with the chain. Here's your cutter, the actual cutting tooth here, and here's the tip right up here. That's the tip, that's the sharp point, that's what you want to sharpen. And here's the plate, the top plate, and right through here is the gullet. That's what the sharpening file will be going through here, and it will come up and sharpen this tip. This over here is the depth gauge, and this is the idea of the 2-in-1, is that it will not only file the tip but also the depth gauge at the same time. And the thing is, if the depth gauge is too tall, then there's nothing for the cutter to cut, because it'll try to get through the wood. But if this is too tall, then there's no wood between the height of the depth gauge and the height of the cutter. There's no difference, and therefore it won't cut. But if the depth gauge is too short, well, then it could just jam up and have a hard time, because yeah, maybe initially it'll be throwing out some good chunks of wood, but it can jam this up. It won't be as even. There's other problems that can occur if you really don't even have any depth gauge, or if this is way too short. So what we want to do is keep these at the right different height between the depth gauge and the cutter. So that's what we're going for. And again, this 2-in-1 sharpening system, the idea is that it can do both at the same time. And so that's what we're going to see. We're going to see how that works right now. So this is one of the smaller STIHL chainsaws. This is the MS-261, and I've been running it quite a bit this summer, and it's pretty gunked up. I'll have to clean all of that out here in just a moment. But what I want to do is look at this sharpener, and you know, you can tell when it starts to get dull, not only because it's very slow going through the wood, but also it produces more of sawdust than flakes of wood, and it's just not as efficient. So it's always good to regularly maintain your chain, your bar, all the equipment in here, and we'll do another video on that at some point soon. But I want to go ahead and try this out, see how it works. All right, so one thing I just noticed, just putting up here, you have arrows telling you which direction here on this, and this is at an angle. And what it looks like is that angle lines up with the actual cutting teeth here. And so you have this file, the round file, that will go into the gullet, and then this flat file will rest on top of the depth gauge here. So let's see, and it looks like I'm kind of looking at the angle of the tooth here, or the cutter, and it looks like if I was going straight down, if I were to line this line up here with the bar, that's not going to be at the right angle. So I'm not sure why that is. If that's even part of the design, I'm not sure. But it looks like, I'm just going to give this a whirl here and see how this works. I do feel it being, very smooth. Oh, that's nice. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so, and I can see just a little bit, I had already, before I was last using this, I had already taken down some of the depth gauge before, so it's not doing as much on there. That's my fault, because I didn't. All right, that's plenty, I think, for that. And what I'm also seeing, go ahead and let me do this here. What I'm also seeing is that these metal rods that are on the sides, they rest on top of the plate, the top plate here. They just rest on top of that. So it's the right, make sure, this is, by the way, a 3/8 inch. So you got to make sure that you have the right chain for this. But it looks like, I can tell that tooth is needing some sharpening. I can tell. It's very smooth. Oh yeah. Okay, that's good. Oops. I'm sure it'll take a little bit to get used to it, but ooh, I like that. And I can see that it's taken down just a little bit on the depth gauge, and that is very, very sharp. Okay. So far, I really am liking this. I could tell this is going to be a lot faster here once I kind of get the hang of it. And I'm looking down, making sure I keep the angle on there. But so far, I am really liking this. You can hear it initially, right? I don't know if you can hear that. I'm doing more on this one. It's like that one needed a little bit more. Ooh. Yeah, but I can tell that it is doing both. A true 2-in-1 here. It is doing both. Okay. Well, I hope it's been helpful for you today, and if you have tips on sharpening chainsaws, please drop those down below, and if you've not already done so, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate you and your support, and we'll see you on the next video.